Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Building Your Life podcast once again. And we have with us an exciting guest with us. I have known Allison for two and a half
Mhm.
years, about.
Yep.
And I have learned that she knows so much more about our topic today than anyone else I think I've ever talked to. And so I wanted to have her on the show for a while. And Allison, just for a quick second, introduce yourself, what it is that you do, and why you do it. That last part, the most important thing.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with my traditional disclaimer. I am an Italian Enneagram 8 from Jersey, which means I talk loud, I talk fast, and I always talk with my hands. So y'all might need to slow the thing down today as you're listening to the episode. But I am an AI powered business strategist and systems builder. And solopreneurs and small agency owners come to me when they've reached that point in their business where they've gotten the rocket off the launch pad. It has left the atmosphere, and now they got to figure out how to keep it going and not come crashing down. They are maxed out on their capacity, but not yet on their ambition. And they are looking to leverage AI to help them keep things going so they don't have to yet grow their team any more than they already have.
Very good. And one of my favorite one liner that you always say whenever you're introducing yourself, you didn't say it this time. You
I didn't
are.
say it. I didn't do it. I am not bossy about it, just aggressively helpful.
All right. That's what I love that. That's what my wife would like to say too. She's not bossy about it. She's just aggressively helpful to get me to
Well,
do what I'm
my
supposed to do.
family throws that line back in my face regularly, and I'm like, live with it. That's just who I am.
So when we talk about AI and how it's used and everything, we have kind of a broad audience. So we have business owners. I tend to get a lot of in the startup phase and right in the middle, and then a few that have really started to make it work. And then I have a subset that are individuals. They're just,
Mhm.
they're either a 9 to 5 or maybe they're retired. And I actually have found that retired folks can, if they're willing to give it a try, can use AI in some really unique and fun ways to make their life
Oh yeah,
better as well. So it's
absolutely.
it's a lot about small businesses, but it's also about the individual and how you can use it and how you can misuse it
Mhm.
if you don't really understand what it is. So to you, what is AI? Like, what is it really for? How can it really help you?
Ultimately, I think that AI, well, there's two schools of thought that usually come with AI. When you say those two little letters, people either have FOMO, fear of missing out, those are the business owners, or you have fear, which are also business owners, but they are also very much the individuals. I was actually just getting new glasses over the weekend, and the woman who was taking my order, whatever, she's like, "Do you think AI is going to take over the world?" And I was like, "Oh, honey, no, it's okay, I promise." Um, but people are afraid of it because anything that's new that we don't understand, we are afraid of. And that's okay. That's our nature as humans. And so there's a lot of fear mongering that goes with it. So, as just humans in general, I think that we need to learn to embrace AI, not as something that is going to replace us, but that is going to amplify us. So if we think back to technology and advancements in general, you think of the farmer that once had to stand behind an ox and the hoe got dragged behind the ox and he had to guide it or whatever, right? When tools came out, when machines came out to prepare the ground for seeds, no one called the farmer lazy, right? The farmer might have been scared to run the big machine, but it ultimately was the farmers that embraced the technology, started using it, and got more done faster. That are the farmers that we see today, right? I don't know, maybe in the Amish country, I don't know, but I don't know anybody who's using an ox to get their fields ready for farming anymore, right? So it's one of those things where I think if we just remember that at every stage of the development of technology, there has been a moment where we have been afraid of something new, but those that embraced it put themselves in the position to accelerate, whether it's their learning, their capacity, or even their enjoyment. That's all come with embracing the technology, learning how to use it properly, and not being afraid of it. And I think that's where we're at with AI right now. I don't know if that answered your question, but
No, I think so. I think a lot of folks they tend to be afraid of it. They tend to say, "Oh, it's going to take over the world." But one of the things I just actually made a post on LinkedIn about this, right? It's like you can't replace years and years of experience. You can get ahead more quickly. You can maybe start a business that you would have never gotten off the ground very, very
Mhm.
quickly because you understand how to use AI. But how much further ahead are, I'm going to say we, because I'm old and I've got a lot of experience in my given field,
Right.
but I can make prompts and I can utilize AI and I can already know where the mistakes are probably going to happen
Hmm.
so that my prompts are arguably a whole lot better than somebody who doesn't have the life experience that I have.
100%. I think that that is the other part that we need to understand. You put crap into AI, you get crap back out of AI. And so if you go into it not knowing anything about finances or marketing or cooking, right? Best example ever. I can't cook, y'all. I can't cook. And I asked ChatGPT for a recipe for an orange chicken sauce. And I just trusted that it was right. And I made the sauce and it was absolutely disgusting because I don't know how to make something sweeter versus do you add vinegar? I don't know. Right. And so my husband was like, never do that again. Just go to all recipes like you used to. But then you're like, Allison, but you use AI constantly. Yeah, but I can't cook. So using AI to get recipes when I don't know what flavors go together, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Just on a personal basis, one of my favorite things that I learned that AI can do for you is you can, because I'm terrible at looking at the pantry and creating a meal. My wife, however, can do this great. I
Yeah.
cannot. But if you take a picture of your pantry or your refrigerator and what's inside of it and ask what you can make,
Mm-hmm.
it will give
To
you an
get,
answer. It'll give you several answers.
yeah.
And it was
Yeah. Yeah.
that saves me time and
Yeah, yeah,
on
you
things that
can
I don't like to
totally.
think about.
These are the ingredients I had. Give me some ideas for meals. Absolutely. Wait, do you know there's actually AI refrigerators right now that actually
Yes.
keep track of the contents of your refrigerator? It tells you what you're out of, what you're running low on, and what meals you can make. I mean, it's super cool. So, yeah, as long as you have a vague idea of what to do with ingredients, once it tells you what to do with the ingredients, you'll know whether or not it's BSing you or not for sure. I think it's right.
Right. Yeah. And how
I just tell
close
it
are
to send me to websites with recipes now, though.
there you go. Yeah. And how close are we, do you think, just on a little bit of a rabbit trail here, to having our refrigerators order what they know we use on a regular basis when
Oh,
we're,
yeah.
well, I mean, we may already be there and I just don't know it yet. But
Yeah. I mean, I think too, I think because we already have the Instacart thing, right? Where you
right.
can you can say, these are the recipes I'm making, fill my Instacart, and it does it for you to orders. I think we're very close to someone just making that connection between the AI refrigerator knowing what you need and connecting to Instacart. It's, it's a Zapier automation. It's
Mm-hmm.
there. Like it doesn't, I don't think it'll take that much. Now, the question becomes is how many people will actually go out and buy that AI refrigerator, right? In order to have
For
that,
like
because
15
the
grand.
investment in that is extensive. I could just go to Instacart and fill my own dang cart in 5 minutes, right? So
Right.
I don't know if it's cost effective, but
There'll be like anything else, right? There'll be this balance, and eventually, it'll make sense, but it probably doesn't make sense unless you're just
right.
really into it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty
Exactly.
sure those refrigerators cost more than I'm willing to spend on a refrigerator at this point in my
Oh
life.
yeah.
But
I promise you they do because I just bought a refrigerator and they're insane. Not didn't buy one of those.
right, right.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more. So you help people all the time. You work with CEOs,
Mhm.
high level individuals, right? That have they generally thought about AI? Are they scared of AI? Like when you talk to somebody who's used to running their business, one, two, three,
Mhm.
and yet they're exploring it. What tends to be the process or the what's it like for these people who are? I'm thinking they might be a little bit like me.
Mhm.
They're in their 50s and they're like, I don't know about this AI thing, but maybe I better check it out because I don't want to be left behind. Is that kind
Exactly.
of it? Tell me a little bit about that.
It is. So the people that I work with they're not AI or technology adverse, right? There are those that are like, I'm not touching it, I'm fighting it. And I'm like, okay, well then you don't want to work with me. Like go find a business coach, go find a business manager. I'm not your girl, right? People that work with me, the CEOs, are already either dabbling in AI or they're using ChatGPT specifically because it's the original gangster, right? Everyone uses ChatGPT. They're using it proficiently, right? Like you are, right? They know how to get in there and prompt it to get what they want out of it already. What they usually come to with me is it's like, okay, Alison, I'm using AI, but I'm not using it as much as I could be. I want to leverage it in a much bigger way that's really highly effective in a systematic way. So, I'm the systems queen is the joke that I make. And so I don't just teach people how to use AI for the fun of it, for the like, use AI for the sake of AI. My whole thing is like, John, what's the problem you want to solve? Here's the system we need to create to solve your problem. Here's where AI fits into that system to make it more efficient, more effective, so that you can delegate to a virtual assistant or to a contractor, or just get things done more quickly for you. I also find that a lot of people come to me when they're at that stage of like, AI is rabbit holing, right? It's taking me in this direction, that direction. And I know that there's brilliance in all of these chat conversations, but I can't find it anymore and I don't know what to do with it. And I'm like, okay, great. So the CEOs that get the most out of, in my opinion, working with me are the ones that are already all in on AI. They believe in it. They just want to use it better. And I'm like, great, let me help you streamline and take away the noise and the distractions that are pulling you off track inside of AI, and just set you up with the tools and the GPTs and the prompts that actually make what you do faster
And maybe even better.
and definitely better for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Cause I mean, you and I have talked, and I'm kind of at that spot here with Guardian Rock Wealth, right? Is like
Mm-hmm.
my wife is going to join me more on a more full-time basis coming up in March. She's retiring from one career to help me, and so she's retiring as a nurse, and she's coming to help me more full time. But part of what I hope, she may not know this yet. I have to introduce
When
you
she
to her.
listens to this podcast, she'll find out.
She's going to find out. Well, you talked about me on the podcast again, didn't you? But I'm hoping she will embrace AI and help me make our operations much more efficient, because I'm at that stage where we've grown, and hey, God has blessed us with clients and everything else, and I want to help more people better,
Mm-hmm.
but I need to get more efficient at time usage and all of that kind of stuff. And that is kind of your sweet spot. And like you said, I have worked with ChatGPT. I've made some of them are really cool. Some of them are, yeah, that didn't work. And that's like with any tool, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
And you and I are going to get together, probably when I get back from my trip later on this spring. And yeah, I'm going to hire you because you are going to make me
You
better and
all
be
heard it. And you all heard it now.
that's
I
right.
have
I
that with
have
a legally
committed.
binding verbal contract, John. It's on the recording.
Yes, but yeah, I'm excited about it because there is so much that
Yeah.
can potentially be done, but it's not like a wave your magic wand, right? It's just
Right.
that, tell me if I'm right when I say is AI something that you can use to maybe take some of the things off your plate that you don't like doing as much?
Sure. I think that
And
it's one of those catch 22s, right? Like we want to be careful not to ask AI to do things that as a human we really just need to do. We just need to have discipline. Like people want to use AI to manage their inbox. That is like the number one. I just want AI. And I'm like, okay, fair. But do you already have a folder system set up in your inbox? Do you already get used? Do you regularly unsubscribe from emails that you don't want to be getting anymore in your inbox? Like, there are a few things we need to set up that are just a matter of us being disciplined. Because if you use AI to amplify yourself, but you're already chaotic, and then you're using AI to amplify chaos, it doesn't make things better. It makes things worse. Right. And so
Hmm.
that's why my zone of genius is combining systems. I call them AI powered systems, systems like with a capital S, right? If you're not being systematic in your business already, we need to start there and then plug in AI where it makes sense. And that's my job, is to be like, all right, John, tell me all of the problems you're currently experiencing. Which one's the biggest pain point we got to solve? What's the system you have in place? Here's how we tweak it, all the things. Okay, great. Now, here's where AI can take that part off your plate. It can make it so you can delegate that completely. You can automate this over here. And then here's your human touch points in between. And we've just created an AI powered system that makes John very happy. It makes his wife enjoy working with him and not want to kill him. I'll be praying for you. And, it all the things. But a lot of times I will say this too. People, so they want AI to be the magic wand where it really can't be or shouldn't be. But then they also blame AI for problems that really aren't their fault. And I mentioned this the other day. We were in a meeting together, and I shared in the chat that you can't give a hammer to a shop student and expect a table that you can only get from a master craftsman, right? Same hammer, but two different people using it are going to get wildly different results. And so I think that we blame the tool when it really is the human using the tool doing a poor job. And so it's all a balancing act, like anything else. Like you were saying earlier, there is a level of expertise that you as a human bring to the table that ultimately affects the outcome of you know, whatever tool you're using, but specifically AI.
You said so many things there that I was drawing like lines in my head all over the place. This is my disorganized head. But one, you said zone of genius, which we talk about a lot on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with your zone of genius. There's nothing wrong with your zone of genius. It's
Yep.
embrace it, get better at it, and let other people or other systems do what's not in your zone of genius. You'll just get
Mm-hmm.
better and better at what you love and what you're really good at. And you said a few other things that I'm going to totally forget now, but it's I'm going to go back and listen, and it's going to catch me again. But I think the probably the number one thing that you're mentioning is that the tool, and I talk about the tool that we call money,
Mm-hmm.
and if you
Yes.
use it correctly and in the hands of a master craftsman,
Mm-hmm.
it can do some wonderful things for you. But money in and of itself is not the end all, because I see
Yes.
so many, and in my career on Wall Street, I saw so many miserable rich people.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's highly prevalent, and sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
do things to try and make them feel like they're having a good time, but really inside they're not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what we're all about here at Guardian Rock, is showing people how to use the tool we call money like a master craftsman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to challenge you. I know we talk to a lot of really smart people on the podcast, but I'm going to challenge everybody listening that if you are a surgeon, if you are a really good dentist, if you are really good at plumbing or electricity, you may not be amazing at managing your money. And frankly, if you're a brain surgeon, I don't want you operating on me if you're really good at investing or if you're really good at wealth management, right? I'd rather you just
if
stayed
you're
away
if
from
you're
me and my family.
thinking about the stock market in your head while
Yes,
you're mad, while you're doing surgery, we got
yes.
problems. Absolutely.
But that is the number one thing. But you are the master craftsman that can help small business people, even individuals. But what we were talking about is, how do you teach somebody that wants to embrace it, wants to
Mhm.
embrace AI, wants to do it in the right way, is a little bit afraid of it, but is like, where do you start? Because I
Yeah.
do have some people who talk about it with me, but they're like, I don't even know where to start. I'll ask it like I would Google, but it's so
Mhm.
much more than that, right? So where would
Yeah.
you start with somebody like that if you're just thinking about what could I do with AI?
If we're talking about on a personal level or in a business
Personal
level,
or
or
business, either one.
yeah, it could be either one. Okay, so I know that you came to my webinar that I did where I taught people how to take expert information. It could be a course. I took a cooking course, right? And I put it into ChatGPT, or it could be a podcast episode where someone, does a case study that you want to replicate the results in your business, whatever it is. Take an expert source, go to ChatGPT, and then say, I am going to give you the information, the expert information as your source content. I need you to help me apply this to my situation using the frameworks provided. Here's my personal situation, right? And then there's the little microphone in the ask anything area where you can dictate. And the term I use is verbally vomit all of the things. Where are you at now? What are you struggling with? What do you need the most help with? So you're I don't do prompt engineering the way a lot of people do. I'm just like, here's the framework, attach it to the conversation and say, I need you to help me implement this framework. Blech. And then go from there.
That's this. I work the same way because let AI do its job and
Yeah,
craft it
yeah.
for you. But that's one of the things that I find beautiful, right, about AI is that I can mix up my words. I can forget
Mm,
about something and come back and say it later, and AI organizes it all.
yep.
And sometimes you just have to get stuff down on paper. I know when I wrote the book, Build a Life, Not a Portfolio, I was like, I'll never get this book done until I gave it to my editor in this jumbled up, mixed up mess. And she
Mm-hmm.
took it and organized it all. And
Exactly.
suddenly it's, oh, this is really readable, it's relatable, and it became Amazon bestseller. So that was super cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now
yeah.
AI can help you do that with anything that you're trying to do. And sometimes that might be something really personal. And as a business owner, it might be that if you got some of your personal stuff squared away, you could do something more and better in your business as well. So
Mm,
these things, especially as owners,
yep.
personal and business do cross over.
Oh, 100%.
Would you say? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that I do every single Monday, I've established what I call a CEO weekly rhythm habit. Every single Monday, I start the day at 8:30 a.m. I go to ChatGPT and I have a CEO weekly rhythm GPT, a bot, if you will, that I've pre-created that asks me the same 8 questions every single Monday morning, right? And the idea is that I am brain dumping all the things that I'm going into the week with, all the goals that I have, the activities I need to get done, how I hope to show up on visibility, what could distract me, what's my personal priority I'm not willing to compromise on this week, right? I structured it so that I can get out all this information and then it says, okay, Allison, here's your snapshot for the week. Here's everything that you said is important, what your priorities are, what you're not willing to negotiate on, and here are the top 3 things that if you get these three things done this week, it's a win, even if the other 25 things on your to-do list don't get done, right? I do that on Mondays. And then on Fridays, I have my same in the same chat, I do a reflection and it prompts me, okay, what were your big wins this week? What got you derailed? Where were you distracted? What are we letting go of that we can go into the weekend and just be like, it's done. Pick this back up on Monday, And so I've built this little coach into ChatGPT to help me balance the fact that I am still human and I am a still business owner. And you know what? Sometimes I'm just having a bad freaking week and my energy levels have tanked. And that visibility plan I had for the month isn't working out anymore. Right. And I need ChatGPT to help me recalibrate based on where I'm at. And so it's been a really cool way for me to use ChatGPT in a very practical way that's both personal and business mixed together.
See, one of the things that I did, and I do not know what anyone's beliefs are that is listening to this podcast, and I'm not saying you have to share my beliefs, but I am a big believer that I want everything that I do to have the same values that are in the Bible. So one of the things that's on every single one of my program GPTs is to be number one, maximally truth seeking.
Mm-hmm.
So go with facts, not opinions when you research articles and things like that. And also to anything that I put out and anything that I do, I want it to be biblically based
Mm-hmm.
so that that
I love it.
rules everything. And,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't. And
Mm-hmm.
it'll come
Oh,
back and it will remind me, and it'll even give me specific references in the Bible to go back to when I'm trying to think through things. So some people will have told me, well, AI is kind of evil, and again, it's a tool when
mm-hmm.
used correctly and by the right people can be really powerful,
Mm-hmm. I
right?
love that you said that because I have right here. Can you see my prayer for the week?
Oh,
At the
yes.
Yeah, at the end of my planning session every Monday, I have it give me scriptures specifically to help encourage me throughout the week, and then it writes me a prayer that I print and I leave on my desk so that I can start every workday with a prayer specifically about my week.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, it is a tool used
Mm-hmm.
the way you want it to be used, and you tell
Exactly.
it how you want it to be.
And it learns because those are the kinds of things where, if you have memory turned on, right, and it knows whatever those values are that you believe in, those core values, as you have further conversations, it will, like you said, it will reference back, it will remember. And so that's one of those things where when we say we train our AI, it does remember those things and it pulls them into conversations right when you need them. It's amazing.
Mhm.
Again, not to go down a totally biblical way. I don't know if you're going to have to edit this out, but I truly believe that God can work through anything. And if he wants to work through your chat GPT, he will do it. If he wants to work through social media and put things in your feed that he wants you to see, he will do it. And so he is not afraid of AI. He
No,
can use it however he wants.
yeah, and I think he's a little more advanced,
Yeah,
right?
just maybe.
Just a creator
Yeah,
and sustainer of the universe. That's all.
yeah.
That's all. But yeah, I am so happy that we finally got to do a podcast together because I want people in general, I want business owners to know this. There's so many people that I talk to that are really afraid of what's happening. I mean, legit afraid of this. I don't want that to be the case, and I don't want people to run away from it. I want good, solid people with good businesses that embrace it and not get left behind so that they can do whatever it is that is at their zone of genius better.
Better.
And the more good people that are doing good stuff, then the more we can push off the people who maybe don't have the same value set or are
Mm-hmm.
trying to do things that aren't great. And
Mm-hmm.
so I want all the good people doing good stuff and in their zone of
Yeah.
genius to learn this stuff and
Yeah.
to not be afraid of it, but to embrace it and use it as a tool as it
And the
was hopefully intended.
Right. And the encouragement I want to give, especially because there is so many naysayers who are like, well, I can see ChatGPT from a mile away. I know AI wrote that. You know what? Nobody got to be a good writer without sucking at it first. There is no, athlete out there who is great at what they do at first. We have to suck when we start. So don't not use AI in your business because you're afraid of getting found out that you're using AI. You've got to use it to get better at it. So, you can be afraid of judgment and it can stop you, or you can accept the fact that some people are going to be like, that was terrible. Be like, well, great. That's fine. I'll get better next time. And you get 1% better every single time. Right. So I would imagine it's similar to investing. You don't want to put all your money in the wrong place, but you're not going to get good at investing until you start investing.
And so you start doing it, and yes, 100%. That's and like I said, with absolutely everything, embrace the suck. Right,
Yeah.
that is my coaches. Later, a couple of coaches that I had used to say that all the time,
Yep.
as we would be really bad, and
Yeah.
they would just
Yep.
say, "Embrace it, you'll get
Yep.
better."
Zig Ziglar, one of my favorite quotes is you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And I think that that is true in every area of your life, and AI is no different.
Absolutely. Well, once again, Alison, thanks so much for being on the show today. And real quick, before we go, how's the best way? And I'll put it down in the show notes. How's the best way for people to contact you if they want to know more about your services and what you do and how you can help?
Sure. So my website is leadsmarterco.com, and put an Allison and an at symbol in front of that. And you can email me. I do free monthly trainings every single month, the second Thursday of the month. So if you want to learn how to use AI for your business, you're going to want to be in my world so that you can get updates on all the things. I teach something different every single month, as John knows.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to work with, we can book a call and chat about what that would look like.
Fantastic. And those of you who are regular visitors to the Building Your Life podcast know that you can contact me at guardianrockwealth.com, or you can grab your phone and text the word life to 321-421-5213. You get a link to all kinds of free information. Alice and I both are about educating a lot
Yeah.
first. And if you do need our services, we want to provide that obviously as well. That is our business, and we would like to help you if it's not your zone of genius. So please reach out to either one of us. But Alison, thanks so much for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.